Okay, you're ready to go.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to the Ways and Means Committee for December the 12th, 2022. Clerk, would you please call the roll.
Alderwoman Davis,
Present.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Present.
Alderwoman Evans, Alderwoman Spencer,
Present.
Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderwoman Keys,
Here.
Chair Boyd.
You forgot Alderman Stevens.
I'm sorry, Alderman Stevens, they didn't have your name on the roll.
Oh, I mean, that's okay if y'all don't want me here, but I am present no matter the less. Thank you.
And I'm present also. Thank you. So I'd like to get an approval of the minutes for Thursday, October the 20th, 2022 committee meeting.
I'd like to move that we approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer, I'm sorry,
Aye.
Alderman Stevens,
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans, Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderwoman Keys,
Aye.
Chair Boyd.
Aye. Our minutes have been approved and accepted. And so now we will do the board bills for review. And we had Board Bill 139. Madam Clerk, would you read that introduction, please?
Board Bill number 139, introduced by Alderman Brandon Bosley and President Megan Green. An ordinance calling and providing for the holding of an election in the city of St. Louis on April 4th, 2023, for the purpose of submitting to the qualified voters of the city of St. Louis a proposal to impose an additional sales tax for 3% on the retail sales of adult use non-medical marijuana made in the city of St. Louis, as authorized by the Amendment 3 to the Missouri Constitution, directing the city clerk to provide notice of the election, providing for the notice of election as provided by law, and the manner of voting thereat, providing for the publication of this ordinance, directing the city register to certify a copy of this ordinance, and containing an emergency clause. Election to be held on the general election municipal election date prescribed by section 115.121.3 RMSMO of Tuesday, April 4th, 2023.
Thank you. And so Alderman Bosley.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-oh. Your connection is real bad, Brandon. Alderman Bosley, the connection is really bad. We can't hear you. Is your co-chair, is your co-sponsor here? Can they speak on it, or they might have better reception? Alderman Bosley, we can't hear you at all. Can you move Alderman Bosley, or can you get your co-sponsor to speak on it?
The president is a co-sponsor, so we need to move on to the next bill. We'll come back to him.
Alderwoman, we had no bill. That was the
Oh.
bill.
Oh, I thought you had another bill.
No, ma'am, all I have is 139. I don't have any more bills.
They were supposed to put the bill, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
Can I be heard now?
Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Drive around the corner. That's crazy. All right. Sorry about that. Board Bill 139 is simply, as it reads, a 3% tax on all recreational marijuana use. Working to number one, get ahead of the wave. We know that at some point in time, there'll be much more structure around. Well, not much more structure. There will be hopefully much more, many more businesses that indulge in the sale of recreational marijuana and the different products that you can create from it. So, we're hoping one day in, the near future, we will see generate some revenue from it. Right now, of course, we don't have bunch of businesses here that are selling recreational marijuana. This isn't a tax on the medicinal use at all either. So this isn't for those individuals, a legalization of it that are getting taxed once again on medicinal use. This is strictly for recreational. There isn't a number particularly right now that we would conceive that would generate $10 million. We wouldn't, at this rate, we wouldn't be receiving any more than about $300,000. So this isn't an astronomical tax, and isn't something, once again, that we could, possibly have measurements on to see what these projections could possibly be. But we're looking at, once again, just a simple tax.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I was going to add in terms of usage, if you all have questions on the way, but these funds could potentially be used. Of course, you see right there in the board bill is pretty cut and dry. There isn't really a specified use all the way that is outlined that the people are voting on. Those are dollars that we potentially be able to utilize for a plethora of things. Some of the things that were talked about potentially being curfew centers, job readiness, a lot of different issues and problems, of course, that we're able to address, especially in underserved communities like ours, and have some sort of tax, not necessarily germane or dedicated for, but have some sort of fund that is right now being dedicated to being collected that we could, utilize as a fund that has been potentially harmful to our communities, is something that can be helped funds from something that has potentially been harmful to things and right some of those wrongs that have taken place historically. So with that being said, this is the summary there of Board Bill 139. Thank you.
Okay, I'd ask the committee to ask if they have any questions. Alderwoman Davis.
No questions.
I probably won't be in order because I'm looking at my screen. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderwoman Spencer.
I have no questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Chairwoman?
we just can't see you.
Oh, hang on, I'll fix that.
Sorry, I was late. I do have some questions for the sponsor, particularly around the use. I think this honestly is good policy to be able to provide some additional revenue for the city of St. Louis. But I came in towards the end when he was speaking about the specific use. At the moment, no.
But no, I was saying that there isn't a specific use. I was just giving out ideas of, what we could potentially utilize it for, but outlined in the board bill, there isn't anything that we've said that this has to go to,
Right.
voters aren't saying that this will be outlined in this and it shall do this or that, but we
So
are
the
just collecting that.
expectation would be, it would go to general revenue.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. That's great. No further questions.
Okay. Alderwoman Middlebrook,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Alderman Stevens, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Evans and calling you Alderman Stevens.
That's okay. It's the hair, right? Not much to say for the beard, but I don't have any questions, but I do rise in support of this bill. I think that it is sensible to add or to ask the voters to allow us to add a 3% tax on recreational marijuana sales, which one's participation or purchase of recreational marijuana is of course voluntary. So yeah, let's add a tax to it. Let's get those funds into the general fund. And if the sponsor of the bill would be so amenable, I'd like to add myself as a co-sponsor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're
Ooh,
welcome.
thank you.
Alderwoman Keys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to be added as well. And now I'm just trying to be clear. So this is a 3% tax. Is that on just marijuana or is it on products associated with marijuana as well?
All of them.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. No other questions.
Okay, I see two people that are not on the committee. Alderman Gunther, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Rice, do you have any questions? Okay. All right. And so for sake of transparency, I would feel more comfortable if we would have public hearings on this bill, because I don't feel comfortable for us moving this on and we haven't heard from the community. And I did have some people that did email us and they weren't able to get in time to be able to speak for or against this. And so in all fairness, I would like for us to set up some hearings so we can have the community have their say in regards to this also, Alderman Bosley. Alderman Bosley, you there? I think he froze now.
I can't get my hand up.
Totally understand that. Can I just get a good idea? Therefore, when we do
Okay, hold on. Alderman Davis, she has something.
on what
His internet is really crazy. We can't.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? I'm right here.
We like going in and out.
I'm not.
No,
I can
you're
see
going
everybody.
in and out. You're not moving. It's just your
Is
reception.
it not still working?
Now it's working.
That's crazy. This is interesting. Okay, so you can hear me now?
Mm-mm. It's still doing it.
No.
Okay, I'll just put my hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Alderman Davis.
I just wanted to share that this is a bill that's asking for the vote of the public. So that is a public voice.
But I guess my question is, because what I keep seeing is people are voting and they don't understand stuff.
Between now and April, we could have a whole lot of hearings. Plus, they're going to get a chance to vote.
And that's why I said,
but there's a time limit to get it on the ballot in April. That's why they're rushing. so they can get on the ballot for April. Because remember, we're going out of session.
Right. Alderman Bosley. He just not doing nothing now.
Oh, no.
He done froze up. Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was struggling to get my hand raised icon going. I was just going to say I would, I really appreciate the chairwoman's comments about public input. I think it's really important. I do think, given the timeline and the nature of, I think, 3% is a pretty significant sales tax. There would be time to have that public discussion as well, during the campaign. So I think in normal circumstances, I would be pretty adamant that we stay with having some public discourse here in this context, but given the public vote, I could see us going that way as well.
Okay,
So-
my committee has spoken.
And your meeting today was published to have public speakers, and nobody signed up.
No, because they were too late.
Oh,
The clerk has sent me the responses that he had gave them, that it was supposed to be by 10 o'clock or something, and they were late. So I just think that when you rush things, haste makes waste. And so I'm not comfortable. We continuously just keep shoving stuff down voters' throats. And I know we say people need to read and all of that, but I just think that doesn't happen. People are not reading like we think they should be reading. And a lot of our legislation is so long, people are not reading all of that. And so that's why I suggested it. And I think Alderman Bosley is trying to find some internet somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, I can't get this.
Well, we could always tax it next year, in 2024.
So what's the committee? You want to take a vote to see which way we want to go? Because so far I'm hearing people are saying, go on and pass it. And so I didn't hear from everybody. Yes.
May I ask a clarifying
Alderwoman
question before that vote? And I apologize if this was discussed. If we don't vote on this today, what is the deadline for getting it through the Board of Aldermen so that it can go on the ballot in 2023 without a special?
Today. See, haste makes waste.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
I think given that set of circumstances, that is, we didn't have much time to prepare this bill, given that it just passed at the state level. I think my preference would be that, I would hate to see us lose out on a year's worth of revenue if the voters so choose to tax this item, these sets of items. So if they reject it, we could always go back and have more discussion, but given that we don't have another chance, I think that we could put it before voters in earnest, recognizing that we, under the gun, didn't have the timeline to have the normal set of discourse that we would have liked, and recognize that we'll have some public hearings and discussions leading into the vote, and that we would be, as a legislative body, willing to revisit this if it doesn't pass, and make that commitment that if it doesn't pass, we'll have a broader discussion. But we hate to lose the revenue, especially a city that's in such dire financial.
Right. Alderman Stevens.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I would echo the Alderwoman of the 20th in that it's not necessarily within our control that, the election was November 8th, and then we have to turn around and produce legislation by December 12th in order to get it on our unique municipal ballot. I agree with the Alderwoman of the 20th as well that ultimately it is the decision of the voters. It's a referendum piece being a tax item, but I do wonder, in the spirit of compromise, if, just to put this out there, Madam Chair, for your consideration, that we could pass this out of necessity, out of procedural necessity, pass it out today in order to get it on that ballot, and then between say the new year and the general election, host public, not necessarily hearings, since we'll have passed it, but host a public forum or a sort of public informational meeting to get the word out? Or would that be feasible?
Yeah, that would be something we could look at.
Because I mean, again, it's out of our control that state elections are November, St. Louis elections are March and April. We're just trying to work within the rules and the laws that govern us.
Right.
But we can still come back and say, you know, hey, even though we had to sort of push this through to make a deadline, we can still hold hold meetings and engage with the public on it, if only for informational. So that's all I wanted to put before you, Madam Chair, and the committee, but I yield back.
All right. Alderman Bosley, you had disappeared.
Yeah, am I back? Can you hear me now?
Now
We
we
can hear
can.
you great
Oh,
now, Alderman
man.
Bosley.
You know, y'all are clear as day to me. Like I can hear
know,
you
but we
in real
couldn't hear
time.
you at all. Alderwoman Davis.
Oh shoot. We can pass this out of committee. You can still have some hearings, and you can always do a floor substitute or something, or amendment between now and then. Structure and set up your public hearing for this weekend or whatever evening or whatever you want to do, and you can have that. You have to remember, this is not for the entire city. Nobody has to pay this 3% except the people that want to buy marijuana. That's the only people that have to pay it.
I'm the only one's
Nobody
gonna show up.
Right. And I've got 4 checks that said have that money for raises for employees, this, that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only the people who are buying marijuana. This is not a citywide 3% tax on anything. So if you want to have a hearing, we can have one, but we need to pass this today.
Understood. And I would like to have it passed out. That's the goal of the day. I do completely understand the importance of public input, but I will say this, just being honest, right? If every single person in the public smoked weed and partake in it, I think there'd be a different conversation. Every single person doesn't. So, throwing it out there, and those who are interested in it, they will show up. This is something that, the people are connoisseurs. So I don't think this is hurting anybody. I don't think any of us have had emails saying that, people are disgruntled about the tax or feel, bothered by it at all. I think we all know that this could potentially generate revenue, and this is just a simple, just a very simple bill, just starting to collect on that revenue that could be potentially generated over the next year. So with that, Madam Chair, I would ask for your favorable consideration and asking for the favorable consideration of the committee, especially in good faith of us having some camaraderie or conversations on what a hearing or some sort of a discussion with the general public looks like, and then going out and having those discussions. Because I do know that even if this does pass out and it goes to the general public and then they want it done as well, when we start to collect those dollars, there will be much, much, much more conversation and hearings that probably will, take place around kind of structuring a board bill in which those revenues can be directed to, some of the texts that Alderwoman Davis just got, So, there'll be conversations of, that this is just kind of just starting it off. We're tipping it off right now and throwing it out there to the voters and getting a feel of the water.
Okay. And so I appreciate everybody's input. Alderman Bosley, they kind of spoke up for you while you disappeared in the wake of the internet.
Thank you.
And so I just want to make sure that we always include them. And then when I had started getting this emails of people that couldn't do the public speaking, and that's why I was like, uh-oh. So on that, could we take a vote on Board Bill 139?
I move, oh, not I
Make a motion.
Yeah. Could somebody make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Board Bill 139 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Second,
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Stevens,
aye.
Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderwoman Keys,
Aye.
Chair Boyd,
Aye. And which,
Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderwoman Schweitzer, 8 aye votes.
thank you. With your vote, we have passed out Board Bill 139.
Thank you.
And so- we heard that one, Brandon.
Thank you.
Do we have any committee discussions at this time? Any announcements? Excuse members? We excused Alderwoman Howard and Alderwoman Schweitzer
Ingracia,
and the Alderwoman Cross.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Alderwoman Davis.
I don't know what's wrong with our technology here lately. Everything's messed up. Would we like to discuss having a hearing now? If you don't have a hearing while this is fresh in people's minds, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, it's going to be hard to get folks' attention. It'll be just like today, you know, 11th hour, I thought about it. So if you'd like to set a date and time, get it out there and that would be considered your second public hearing.
So Alderman Bosley.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm with it.
No, we need a date.
And preferably the evening or Saturday.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Are we thinking like next week or this week?
It's up
Or we
to you,
want to
sir.
do the weekend? Okay. All right. Well, let's go let's do Thursday.
Thursday, the 15th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's
that's
us.
time. At what time? It'll be evening.
Yes, ma'am. We can do it around this time. This works. Actually, let's do about 1 o'clock. Does that work for everyone?
That doesn't help the public.
Now, this a public
Okay.
hearing. Yeah,
Let's say 6 o'clock, man. That's
Okay.
enough folks to get off work. They'll be able to chime in.
right. And then that'll give the clerk time to get the announcement out and stuff in a timely fashion. So we're gonna do Thursday at 6 o'clock via Zoom, correct?
You know what? Let's do next Tuesday. That gives everybody enough time to hear about it. We put it on the schedule for enough days. It's I think that's too close to Christmas.
Yeah.
That is. Okay, but we'll keep it Thursday. then.
Stay with Thursday, yeah, stay with
Okay.
Thursday. So the Ways and Means Committee will meet Thursday at 6 o'clock PM via Zoom to hear the public's input on Board Bill 139.
Okay.
All righty.
And just to be clear, that Thursday's date is the 15th, right?
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other announcements or discussion? Thank you, Alderwoman Davis. I appreciate you. Okay, on that note, I'll call to adjourn the meeting. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So motioned.
Second,
Okay, Ways and Means Committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Woo.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.